Heads up.
You got time to talk now?
Okay?
We've just been traveling for a while now, and I figured, especially after all that stuff with Dima, that you deserve to know more about me. So, there anything you want to know?
So, who are you, Nick?
That's a question I've been trying to figure out myself for a long damn time. I know I'm a synth, authentic Institute handiwork, but I'm still mechanical, not bioengineered like the fancy synths giving everyone the willies these days. I get tune-ups now instead of checkups.
You remember when Dima was talking about the Institute's personality experiments? My memories, my personality. They're all lifted from some cop who volunteered for an experiment back before the war. They scanned his brain and copied it onto the hardware that runs between my ears. Don't know why they chose to make a robot based on some pre-war cop instead of a math genius or a bioengineer. But hey, maybe that's why the Institute tossed me in the garbage instead of turning me into one of their people snatchers.
Wait, the original Nick was from my time?
Sure was. Which meant when I finally ended up out here, it was quite the rude awakening. I remember waking up one day in a garbage heap, a body in tatters and a head full of memories belonging to a man who'd been dead for 200 years. Suffice to say, it was a confusing couple of weeks. Folks didn't really know much about synths back then, so when I finally ran into people, they mostly treated me with caution rather than hostility. But the kids, they weren't afraid. I think his name was Jim. The first person to actually speak to me after I got the boot from the Institute. My first human contact in this world. Grilled me for an hour. Once they'd seen I wasn't going to hurt anyone, the other folks in the neighborhood came out to ogle the mechanical man. It eventually turned into a pretty swell soiree. A local mechanic even gave me a once-over, free of charge. Those people, they treated me like a human being. I've been trying to return the favor ever since. It's a surprisingly rare trait out here sometimes. It's something I've noticed you got a fondness for. Part of the reason I've stuck around this long.
I wouldn't want it any other way. I like having you close.
No fooling. You sure know how to make a synth feel welcome. Well, I expect you're about as bored as can be listening to me rattle my skeletons. We should probably head out.
Look alive.
Do something for you?
Nick.
Hey, you, got a sec?
You all right, Nick?
I wouldn't normally bother you with this sort of thing, but, well, I know I can trust you at this point. For as long as I can remember, I've been getting these, flashes. Memories of places I've never been. Things I've never seen. Memories of Nicks. They're not bad, they're just this inescapable reminder that I'm not the person I think I am. That I'm not a person at all. I'm just a machine, pretending to be human.
What kind of memories?
Everything. Old cases, old loves. I found myself running background on cases only to realize everyone involved's been for 200 years. Don't get me wrong, I know I'm in Nick's debt. These memories, they've kept me alive. Nick was a cop. A guy with good instincts and a good heart. I always counted myself lucky they didn't load me up with some ex-con, or whatever type might volunteer to let folks tinker with their gray matter. But it's thanks to Nick that I pass for human. Why I get to live cushy in Diamond City, and every other synth is in sight. I know I got it good, but my entire life I owe to Nick. Everything that makes me who I am. My judgment, my speech, even my name. They're his. And I can't do a thing about it, because without them, I'm nothing. A shell. All I want is a life where I have something I can call my own.
You do, Nick. You've got me.
Well, if you really mean that, that's real good to hear. You know, I'm just gonna need some time to think on this. I appreciate you hearing me out. You're a real good friend. Thanks.
Don't
Well,
walk
that whole
outside the wall
business with Doc
undefended.
Amari and
High
Kellogg's
quality
memories
protection for
got
sale.
me thinking. It's just there's still some Nick Valentine history I've been wanting to put a bow on for a while now. I could use a hand if you're willing to take a crack at it.
What kind of history are we talking here?
Well, this one's straight out of the archives. Once upon a time, in the land of Boston, there lived a king of organized Eddie Winter. He was a bad man who did a lot of bad things, hurt a lot of innocent people. But he knew the end was coming, so he sealed himself inside a personal shelter, located underneath a sub-shop he used as a headquarters.
There's more to this, isn't there?
The story gets even more twisted. The arrogant had wanted to cheat, live forever, so he could come out of that shelter someday into this brave new world. Sound familiar? Only Eddie didn't want to be a frozen banana. No cryo sleep for him, no. He invested his money in some sick, crazy radiation experiment.
Well, Nick, you can't be saying what I think you're saying.
Oh, I'm saying it all right. Eddie Winter went and turned himself into a ghoul 200 years before it was fashionable. Hell, he was probably the first one. And I'm convinced that he's still locked inside that shelter, safe and sound, ready to come out and begin his evil reign all over again. I'm gonna find him and so that never happens. You in?
I don't get it, Nick.
I've got memories of a girl. My girl. They're not really my memories, I know that. They're Nick's. But the girl, she was real. She was beautiful and innocent. And Winter her. Now he's got to pay the price. So, knowing that, are you in?
All right, Nick. Let's get the bad guy.
Good. Now, I know where Winter's vault is, but the door is sealed with a complex numerical code. Lucky for us, Winter's arrogance knew no bounds. Back in the day, he recorded 10 holotapes, incriminating different criminal associates. On each one, he hit a single number. We find all of those holotapes, we get all the numbers. We get all the numbers, we get the code. And then we get Winter. I've been putting together a file on this one for a while now. There's a pair of holotapes in here worth listening to, including one of Winter's that I managed to snatch from the Cambridge Police evidence lockup before getting swarmed by ferals. On my way out the door, I spotted an active evidence terminal. I'll bet my hat that terminal is the key to finding the rest of the tapes. Probably worth revisiting any police departments you may have stumbled across in your travels as well.
Win the game. Buy a...
So, you got something for me? Maybe a pocket full of tapes belonging to an old fool?
Yep, here. Take them.
Look at that. Wow. That's some real solid detective work. They've got Eddie's pockets all over them. These are the real deal. And they've still got the code pieces in them. Let me run them through the whole process. Got it. 1 9 5 3 7 2 8 4 0 6. That old thug's holed up in Andrews Station. Now, let's go going anywhere until I get what I came for.
Yeah? And what's that? And who are you, huh? You look kind of familiar. But what are you, some kind of robot? Is that what it's like out there now? A world of robot overlords? I knew it.
The name's Valentine. Nick Valentine. Remember me?
Valentine? The cop? Is that who you're supposed to be? Sorry, pal, but you ain't Nick Valentine. You're just some kind of, machine. Look at you. You're not even alive.
Then I guess I'm in good company.
You ain't taking me down!
Not yet. You're done here. There's one more thing I've got to do. This is it. In this spot, 200 years ago, one of Eddie's boys put a bullet in Jenny Land's back. Now Eddie's is Jenny and Nick. I'm at a loss. All I know is that without you, Eddie'd still be at large.
Taking down Winter was a big deal. Are you doing all right?
I don't know. It's a lot to take in.
Winter was it. The only reminder left of the original Nick Valentine. The last bit of his business settled. I'm not sure how I feel.
What were you expecting?
I just thought this would fix things, but it's not that easy. Because I was Nick Valentine. I had his memories, his fears, all that poor hope. I remember getting the call to head to some lab in Cambridge to get that neurotrans whatever. And the next thing I know, I'm in a trash heap. My family, my home, my entire life gone. Then I discover all those things that they weren't even mine. Everything I ever was belonged to Nick. I'd hoped with Winter gone, the last hint of that old world snuffed out, I could finally be free. But being out here with you, what I finally realized after all this time was that taking down Winter, it wasn't about Nick or Jenny or even you or me. It was about justice, about doing what's right. And that act of goodness, that's ours. All the good we've done, that's ours, and ours alone. And even if that's the only thing in this world that I can ever claim as mine, not Nick's, not the Institute's, but mine, then I can die happy. And none of it would have ever happened if it weren't for you. I'm not sure I'll ever be able to thank you for that.
I'm sure I can think of something. You know, I was wondering if we could try being more than just friends.
Wait. You're serious? I can't believe you'd feel like that. Glad to be wrong. It's just well... Look at me. I'm an old synth. I mean, hell, I still don't really know if I'm the person I think I am. You sure that this is what you want?
Nick, you're just the way I like. Nothing would make me happier.
Glad to hear it. I'll be here as long as you'll have me. Goodness. What can I say? Count myself real lucky to have you. Come on. Let's see where the trail takes us. All right, if you're still interested in traveling together. I wouldn't blame you if you wanted some time on your own after all this.
You still want to travel with me?
I think I could suffer through it.
Yeah, I guess that'll work.
You sure know how to make a synth feel welcome. Come on, let's get out of here.
I'm glad I could help. It seems like it meant a lot to you.
You don't know the half of it.
Winter was it. The only reminder left of the original Nick Valentine. The last bit of his business settled. I'm not sure how I feel.
Don't you see, Nick? You're finally free. There is no other Nick anymore. Just you.
I wish it was that easy. But it's not. Because I was Nick Valentine. I had his memories, his fears, all that poor hope.
I'm sure I can think of something. You know, I was wondering if we could try being more than just friends.
Wait. You're serious? can't believe you feel like that. Glad to be wrong. It's just well, look at me. I'm an old synth. I mean, I still don't really know if I'm the person I think I am. You sure that this is what you want?
Of course I am. I don't care what you are. You're more human than anyone. And I'm in love with you, Nick.
Well, I love you too. Maybe that's all that matters. Goodness. What can I say? Count myself real lucky to have you. Come on, let's get out of here.